Hello students, today we will learn about the generation of computer. This is our next topic. The first topic was early history of computer. Now we will learn about the generation of computers. In this topic we will learn how the computers were invented according to the generations. What were the generations of computer? Students, there were 5 generations of computer. Okay, and in these 5 generations, different kinds of computers were invented by different scientists and inventors. Okay, so now we will move to the generation of computers. First, let me tell you the contents of this topic. Okay, students, in this context, we will learn about the generations. What do you mean by the generation of computer? Then, in first generation, what were the computers invented? It is written there. In first generation, the computers that were invented was Mark I, ENIAC, ENIAC, and ENIAC. Okay, these computers used vacuum tubes. Then in second generation computers, these computers used transistors. In third generation computers, these computers used integrated circuits, and the fourth generation of computers used microprocessor, and the fifth generation computer used artificial intelligence. And this fifth generation of computers is still in a developing phase. That means this fifth generation of computer is still being used today. Okay? Students, what do you mean by generation of computers? Generation of computers are characterized by the changes in technology. Okay? These generations are characterized by the changes in technology. It means that according to the generations, the computers that were invented, though these were replaced by the new computers through the advancement of their technology. The computers that were in first generation, they were not so advanced in technology as compared to the second generation. That means these generations are characterized by the advancement of the technology. Okay? Now, as the human civilization got developed, the technology of these generations also got developed. Okay? The idea of inventing new computers also got developed according to the generation wise. So, generation of a computer is always characterized by the changes in technology. Okay? So students, now let's start with the first generation of computer. Okay? The period of first generation of computer was from 1940 to 1956. Okay? These computers started from 1940 and it lasted up to 1956. This was the time period of the first generation of computers. It started started from 1940 and it ended up to 1956. Okay? These computers were characterized by vacuum tubes. You know what is vacuum tubes? Who invented vacuum tubes? Let me tell you. Vacuum tubes was invented by the inventor Lee D. Forrest. Who invented vacuum tubes? Lee D. Forrest. I will say you the spelling of this scientist. It is L-E-E. Lee D-E-E D F-O-R-E-S-T. Forrest. He was the inventor of these vacuum tubes. And in the first generation of computers, these vacuum tubes were used in the circuitry of CPU to perform different programs along with the memory. Okay? There were vacuum tubes in the circuitry of CPU and memory. Okay? But these computers were not so reliable to work. Reliable means these computers were not so dependable by the people to work. Why? Because these computers were very expensive and they were very huge in size. They were very huge in size. The computers that we have today are very small in size, but these computers were very large in size. Okay? Now, what were the means of input and output devices in these computers? The input and output devices were punch cards, paper tapes, magnetic tapes. These were the input and output device of these computers. Okay? Now, what are paper tapes and magnetic tapes? Paper tapes were tapes with holes punched in it. These were tapes that were punched with holes in it. Okay? These were used in order to convey data and instruction inside the computer. Convey means to give the data and instruction inside the computer. These paper tapes were used. And why were these magnetic tapes used? These magnetic tapes were used in recording sound, pictures inside the computer. These magnetic tapes were used for recording sound, recording pictures and videos inside the computer. Sorry, there were no videos at that time, but it could record the pictures. Okay? Yes. And now let me tell you the disadvantages of this computer. There was disadvantage in this computer. As this computer was very huge and large, it could not be carried from one place to another. And it required many people to work in this computer. Not only a single person could work in this computer because it was very huge with many different parts. Okay? These computers required a large cooling system. These computers required a large cooling system because they produced a huge amount of heat. Okay? These computers produced large and huge amount of heat. That is why large coolers and many cooling systems were used to cool down the computer. Okay? And these were very difficult to program. These computers were very difficult to program. Though these computers were advanced from the early computers like Abacus, Napier bones, though these were very advanced, but because of their size and because of their expenses, these were very difficult to program. Okay? It was not so that easy to do the programs in these computers, and it required a lot of people to walk along. Okay, and it also required large cooling systems because these computers produced large amount of heat. Large amount of heat were generated from this computer. That is why it required a large cooling system. Okay, now students, what were the example of this first generation of computers? Let me tell you. In first generation of computer, the first computer that was invented in the first generation was Mark I. Okay students, the first computer of the first generation was Mark I. So students, this is the computer of the first generation, Mark I. Can you see? Yes. Can you see how large and how big it is? And you cannot move this computer from one place to another. It is fixed in one position only. And can you see, with so many devices in it? And not only one person could perform in this computer. You need many people to perform in this computer. Okay? This is Mark I, the first computer of the first generation. Now let me tell you about Mark I, who invented it and when was it invented. Okay? Students, this Mark I was the first fully functional computer. This was the first fully functional computer. That means all the functions could be performed in this computer. Okay? This computer was developed by Aiken, A-I-K-E-N, Aiken, in collaboration with IBM. In collaboration with IBM. What do you mean by IBM? IBM means International Business Machine. Okay? And this computer was invented this computer was used from the year 1939 to 1944. That means this computer was invented in the year 1939 and it lasted up to 1944. Okay? This computer was 50 feet long. This was 50 feet long. Its height was, the height of this computer was 50 feet. Okay? It was a very huge machine and the weight of this machine was 50 tons. The weight of this machine was 50 tons. It was not very easy to move this computer. Okay? And this computer consisted of 750,000 parts. How many parts? 750,000 parts. Okay? Many parts. It had many parts. Okay? And this computer used paper tape readers, 2 card readers, 1 card punch and 2 typewriters. Okay? These were the means of input devices. Okay? Tape readers, card readers, 2 card readers, 1 card punch and 2 typewriters. 2 typewriters were attached with this computers for typing. Okay? And this computer was very fast in calculation. This computer was very fast in doing mathematical calculations. It took only 3 to 6 seconds to add or do any kind of calculations. It took only 2 to 3 seconds. Okay? To numbers, it took only 3 to 6 seconds. Okay, so this was about Mark 1. Let us move to the another computer of the first generation, that is ENIAC. Okay. Students, this is the picture of ENIAC, the computer of the first generation. This is ENIAC. Can you see? So many wires are attached with each other, and it is also a very huge computer. But this is little less than the Mark 1. Mark 1 was 50 tons. The weight of Mark 1 was 50 tons, but the weight of ENIAC is only 30 tons. But it is also a big computer. Okay. Now these computers were used to design atomic weapons. Now students, this is the another computer of the first generation, that is ENIAC. 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 The full form of ENIAC is Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. I repeat, the full form of ENIAC is Numerical Integrator and Computer. This computer was the first electronic digital computer. Mark 1 was fully functional computer, but this ENIAC is the first electronic digital computer that was developed by two scientists. The name of those scientists were John Presper Eckert and John W. Mauchly. Okay? Who invented this computer? This computer was invented by John Presper Eckert and John W. Mauchly in the year 1946. This computer was invented in the year 1946. Now let me tell you about the features of this computer. This computer was very huge in size. This was also a huge computer. Okay, student? Now this computer weighed 30 tons. The weight of this computer was 30 tons. Okay, student? And this computer was made by using 18,000 vacuum tubes. This computer was used by making 18,000 vacuum tubes. Okay? ENIAC was used in designing atomic weapons. These computers were used to design atomic weapons, and it did not contain stored program. This computer did not contain stored program. That means the program which you performed in this computer, it used to get deleted as soon as you turn off the computer. The programs were not stored in this computer. Okay? If you want to program again, you have to start from the beginning. Okay? Nothing was stored in this computer. Okay? And this made this computer very difficult to perform the task. Okay? Now let me show you the picture of ENIAC. Now let us move to the another computer, that is EDSAC. 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 Okay? Let me show you the picture of this computer, EDSAC. So student, this is the picture of an ENIAC. Can you see? It is also a huge computer with many different parts in it. Okay? Can you see? Yes. So now let me tell you about ENIAC and about its features. Okay? Students, let me tell you about ENIAC. Firstly, the full form of ENIAC is Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator. The full form of ENIAC is Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator. This ENIAC was the first general purpose computer. It was the first general purpose computer. This computer used stored programs. Whatever program we performed in this computer, it got stored in its circuitry or memory. Okay? This computer was designed by Maurice Wilks, okay, and his team at University of Cambridge, England in the year 1949. Who designed this computer? This was designed by Maurice Wilks along with his team were in University of Cambridge, England in the year 1949. This device used stored programs. That means the programs that we need to work on were stored in this computer. Okay? It contained only 300 vacuum tubes. In this computer, only 300 vacuum tubes were present. Okay? And it used mercury delay lines for its memory circuitry. Okay? In the memory circuitry, in the CPU of this computer, they used what? They used mercury delay lines. Okay? Now comes the next computer, that is ENIAC. Okay? This is the picture of an ENIAC. Okay? The full form of ENIAC is Electronic Discrete Automatic Computer. Can you see? This was also a huge device, a huge computer. These three computers were the computers of first generation. Now let me tell you about ENIAC and its features. Students, now let us learn about ENIAC. Okay? The full form of ENIAC is Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. What is the full form of ENIAC? It is Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. Okay? This computer was proposed by the inventors of ENIAC. The inventors who invented ENIAC also proposed this computer. Now, who were the inventors of ENIAC? They were John Presper Eckert and John W. Mauchly. And this computer was proposed in the year 1944. Okay? This computer was proposed in the year 1944. It was the first machine that used binary data rather than decimal. This computer used binary data in place of decimals. Okay? And this ENIAC was delivered to the ballistic research. This computer was used in research organization, and this computer was delivered in the ballistic research. Okay? In the research organization to do some research work. These computers were used. Okay? And this computer also contained stored programs. Okay? And it used only 400 vacuum tubes. Okay, students? This was about ENIAC. Okay? So, in the first generation of computer, about what did you learned about? Mark 1, ENIAC, ENIAC and ENIAC. These were the computers of the first generation. Now, let us move to the second generation of computer. Okay? So, students, now let us study about the second generation of computer. First, let me tell you the time period of the second generation of computer. Okay, students? So, what was the time period of this computer? This computer was used from 1956 up to 1963. These computers were used from 1956 and lasted up to 1963. So students, what was the main feature of this computer? The main feature of this computer was the use of transistors in place of vacuum tubes. In the previous computers, vacuum tubes were used, but in this computer, transistors were used. Okay? Now, what are transistors? Transistors are electronic equipment that are used in computers, television, radios, etc. Okay? These are electronic equipment. That means electronic materials that are run with the help of electricity. Okay? These computers used transistors, and this was the main features of the second generation of computer. Okay, students? Now, what was the source of input and output devices? Okay? They used punch cards for input devising. Okay? They used punch cards to input something inside the computer. And for output devices, they used printers. To get result from the computer, they used printers. So, punch card and printers were the means of input and output devices. Okay, students? Now, what was the language of this computer? What language this computer could understand? Okay? These computers could understand the languages like Fortran, Basic and COBOL. Okay? These were the programming languages in these computers. Programming languages means the computer that could understand. The program that we could perform, that is programming languages. Okay? The programming languages were Fortran, 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 COBOL, COBOL, COBOL and Basic, BASIC, Basic. These were the programming languages. Okay? And these computers were smaller and more reliable than the first generation of computers. Comparing to the first generation, second generation of computers were smaller and more reliable means they were more dependable. They were more dependable to work in these computers. It was not that very tough like the first generation of computer to work in this second generation of computers. Okay, students, what are the examples of second generation of computer? The examples are GE 635. This was the model of second generation of computer. Okay, student, the first model was GE 635 and IBM 1400 series. These are the examples of second generation of computers. Okay, students, now in the next slide you can see the picture of second generation of computer. Okay, students. So students, this is the picture of second generation of computer. Can you see? These computers are smaller comparing to the first generation of computer, isn't it? Yes. And these computers used transistors in place of vacuum tubes, and these are not so huge and large like the computers in the first generation, isn't it? Yes. Now let us move to the third generation of computer. Okay? So students, now comes the third generation of computer. Now what was the time period of this computer? The time period was 1964 to 1971. That means these computers were used from the year 1964 and it lasted up to 1971. Okay, students? Now, a change was brought in the IT industry. Okay? IT means information technology. Okay? Information technology. IT means information technology. A little change was brought in the IT industry by the introduction of integrated circuits. Okay? Now, there was a change in this generation of computer. The IT industry, the information technology industries, they brought a little bit change in this generation of computers by the use of integrated circuits, that is IC. Okay? The meaning of IC is integrated circuits. That means advanced circuit system. Okay? Now, these computers became more smaller than the first and second generation of computers. Okay? The computers of the third generation were more smaller than the first and second generation of computers. Okay? Now, these computers used transistors, capacitors and resistors. Okay, integrated circuits means electronic parts. Okay, these computers were run through electricity. Okay, and these computers used transistors, okay, capacitors and resistors. Transistors, I have already told you, transistors means electronic equipments that are used in the computer system. And what are capacitor now? Capacitor is a device that can store an electric charge. Okay? What is a capacitor? Capacitor is a device. It is a material that can store electric charge. Okay? Like we have inverters and all. What does it do? It stores electricity in it, isn't it? After the light goes, like if the current goes off, through what we use electricity? We use electricity through the inverters, isn't it? So those are also the capacitors. Okay, the capacity to store electric charge is capacitor. Okay, and what are resistors? Resistors are a device that does not allow electric charge to flow freely in a circuit. What are resistors? Resistors are device that does not allow an electric charge to flow easily in a circuit. Okay? If the current flows freely in a circuit, it could produce lot of heat. Okay? Like it does in the first generation of computers. Okay, students? So, resistors were used to control the flow of electricity in these circuits. Okay, because integrated circuits were used in these computers. Integrated circuits are only the transistors, capacitors and resistors in this generation of computer. Okay, students? Now, what was the storage device of this computer? Magnetic disks. Magnetic disks were used as the means of storage device in this computer to store information or something. What was used? It was magnetic device was used. Okay, students? Then computers also became more reliable. Then this third generation of computer became more advanced and more easier to use than the computers compared to the second and first generation. Okay, these were more dependable to use. Okay, now report program generator and Pascal were developed as the main programming language. Okay, now what is the programming language of this computer? Third generation of computer, what was the programming language? Those were report program generator, that is RPG. Report program generator, RPG, and Pascal, PASCAL, Pascal. These two were the programming language in the third generation of computers. Okay. Now, what is the example of this generation of computer? It is IBM System 360. Okay, is the famous computer of the third generation. What is it? It is IBM System 360 is the example of this generation of computer. Okay, students. Now, let us move to the fourth generation of computer. Before that, you can see the picture of the third generation of computer in the next slide. Okay. So students, can you see the computer in the third generation? It is very much smaller and very much reliable than the computers in the second and first generation. Now, this computer became more smaller and more cheaper than the second and first generation of computers. Isn't it? Can you compare? Yes, it has got the input system, like can you see there? Keyboard, it has got mouse. These are the integrated circuits. Okay, I mean these integrated circuits. Keyboard, mouse, CPU, then that monitor. But in the previous computers, there were no such monitors or keyboard or CPUs or mouse. Isn't it? Yes, this was the main device of the third generation of computer. Okay. Now, let us move to the fourth generation of computer. Okay. So students, now let us study about the fourth generation of computer. Okay, the time period of fourth generation of computer was from 1972 and it ended it in the year 2010. The time period started from 1972. The use of this computer started from the year 1972 and it ended in the year 2010. Okay students, this was the time period of this fourth generation of computer. Okay, now what were the features of this computer? The fourth generation is marked by the use of large scale integration and very large scale integration, that is LSI and VLSI. Large scale integration, LSI, and very large scale integration, VLSI. Okay, these were the large integration circuits. Okay, in the third generation I told you about integrated circuits. Now these computers used very large scale and large scale integrated circuits. Okay, this VLSI combines millions of transistors in a single chip. In the previous generation only one transistors were used. Okay, but in the fourth generation of computers millions of transistors were developed or were combined in a single chip. Okay, the transistors, the electronic equipment were combined in a single chip, in a small chip. Okay, now microprocessors were developed during this generation. Microprocessors means small unit of processing system, very small unit of processing system were used in this generation of computer, were developed in the fourth generation of computers. Microprocessors were developed. Okay, and new input and output devices were introduced. New system of input and output devices were introduced like scanner, printer, speakers, etc. Okay, new input and output devices. Okay, and these computers were very much powerful and very much reliable comparing to the previous generations, previous third, second and first generations. The computers of this fourth generation were very powerful and very reliable. Okay, and these computers gave rise to the development of personal computers. Personal computers, the computers like desktop. Okay, the computers that you have in your home that can be kept at home. These are the personal computers, PCs. Okay, and this computer used high level languages. The language, the programming language of this computer of this generation were high. Okay, that is the languages they used were C++ and C languages. It used the programming languages of fourth generation of computer was C and C++. Okay, now what are the examples of fourth generation of computer? The examples are IBM 4341, PUP 11 and Apple 11. Okay, these are the examples of fourth generation of computer. Okay student, now let us move to the slide of fourth generation of computer. Let me show you the picture of fourth generation of computer. Okay, now student, this is the image of fourth generation of computer. Can you see? This computer is very smaller and very reliable than the previous computers. Okay students, Yes. Now let us move to the next generation, that is fifth generation, the very advanced generation. Okay? Students, let's start with fifth generation. Okay? This fifth generation of computer started from the year 2010, and today we are still using the advanced generation of the computer. This fifth generation of computer is from 2010 till date. Till date means till today. Till today we are using the fifth generation of computer. Okay? The very large scale integration technology became ultra large scale integration technology in this generation. Those large scale integration and very large scale integration turned into ultra large scale integration. That means very powerful integration. Okay? The systems, the circuit systems of this generation were very advanced. Okay? And these computers produced what? Supercomputers and palm tops. Palm tops means like laptops, tablets, mobile phones. In this generation, these computing systems were developed. Isn't it? Today, what do you use at home? Don't you use laptop, tablets, mobile phones, and you have the features of a computer or not in your mobile phones today? Isn't it? It is the ultra large scale integration technology of this period. Okay? Now see how advancedly the generations have developed. Isn't it? Yes. And in fifth generation of computer, emphasis is laid on producing computer that can think and reason, which means that they are artificially intelligent. Today, the computers that we use, you just type a program, isn't it? And all the programs are performed within the computer, isn't it? Yes, all the programs are performed within the computers. They can perform by themselves. You don't have to give each and every instruction to the computer. Okay? This is what they are, artificially intelligence. Okay? And artificial intelligence, what is this artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that tends to produce computers that behave like humans. What are artificial intelligence? It is a branch of computer science. It is a scientific technology in which computers behave like humans. We human beings, we can think of our own. We can think what we need to do, isn't it? These computers can also think what they have to do, but these are like robots. Okay, these are instructed from outside and they do the logical thinking inside the computer only. Okay, yes, these computers, like the scientists they used to use for research programs or something like that in the investigation agencies, the robots, isn't it? Yes, these computers are developed in these generations. Supercomputers, the palm tops, the laptops, the mobile phones, the tablets, etc. Okay? And in these computer, hardware miniaturization, the word hardware miniaturization is another feature of this generation. Now, what is hardware miniaturization? Hardwares are the computer parts like keyboard, CPU, mouse, monitor, isn't it? Miniaturization means converting the large parts into small parts. Like in laptop, do you have another keyboard connected to the laptop? No. Everything is what? In the same thing. You get the monitor also you get the mouse also and you get the keyboard also in the same device, isn't it? That is hardware miniaturization. Okay, that means making the big hardware system into smaller systems. Okay, like in mobile phones. Do you need to attach a different keyboard to type a message or something? No, right? You have the keypad itself inside the mobile phones, isn't it? Yes, that is called as hardware miniaturization. Hardware means the parts of a computer. The computer parts that you can touch, like keyboard, monitor, mouse, etc. And software are the parts that are inside the computer. Okay, the software system like the motherboard, etc., which is inside the computer. Okay, those are softwares. Okay, that is installed in the computer to perform a program that cannot be touched from our hand. Can you touch the PowerPoint or the Paint program inside a computer? No, it cannot be touched, but it can only be performed or programmed. Okay, those are the software, and hardwares are those like the computer systems like monitor, speaker, keyboard, okay, printers, scanners, okay, these are hardware. Okay, and these hardwares were made very smaller compared to the earlier generations. That is, in the first generation, so big computers were there. In the second generation, little bit smaller, it was changed into small, and in third generation the computer became more smaller, and in fourth very small computers were invented, and in these fifth generation supercomputers and palm tops were invented. Okay, and the programming languages of this generation are Java, C++, C, etc. Okay, this is the programming language of this generation of computer. So student, I hope you are cleared with this topic, early history of computer and generation of computer. Yes, in the next topic we will learn about the Windows system. Okay, so students, you just go through the revision part and see the slides again. Okay, thank you.